What is going on, everyone? Keeks here, and I know we've been talking a lot of Batman lately, but this is just such one badass Santa that I think to get into the holiday spirit, we have to cover this issue of Batman Santa Claus Silent Night. So it starts out in Gotham, and it is just a brutally cold and snowy night. There are some Christmas carolers out, and they're singing, but most of them actually just kind of want to go home, and they're like, hey bro, it's kind of cold out here, can we just leave? And this jackass just goes straight into another song and starts singing, and everybody's like, alright, whatever, we'll sing one more, but then maybe we're not going to put up with his crap anymore. But before they even get through that song, all of a sudden, there are these demon-looking bat creatures that come out and just slaughter all of these guys. Batman and Damian Wayne as Robin shows up, and Damian's like, somebody really doesn't like carolers, and Batman's kind of like, come on bro, that's in poor taste. Even still though, all of their prime suspects that would do something crazy like this are already in lockup right now, so this is going to be something new that they haven't seen before. They look at all the bodies and realize that there's a puncture wound in all of the necks, and some weird animalistic prints on the ground. As they're investigating, a snowman behind Batman starts to light up green. Damian freaks out, but Batman's like, nah, don't worry about it. This is my backup. I called her in because this looks mystical to me, and who is better at mystical stuff than Zatanna? She performs a little magic on one of the corpses to see what they saw right before they died, when Batman lets her know that, hey, don't freak out now, but just act normal, because one of these crazy things is right behind us. It gets up out of the snow behind them to attack them. Batman is able to scare him away with a batarang, but another one takes Robin real quick, and before it's able to escape, a wooden stake just pierces it right through the heart, to then only reveal the most badass Santa we've seen yet. He is on literally a Terminator of a reindeer here with glowing red eyes. And he's like, hey, these are known as Drog. I came as soon as I could. Zatanna starts freaking out a little bit like, wait, hold up. Santa's really here? And Batman just says, Chris, been a long time, because why wouldn't Batman have already met Santa? He says they met during his years abroad, and Santa actually showed him a few things that he still uses to this day. Santa reads off Zatanna's address, just letting her know that, yep, that is the real Santa. And Damian's like, what? No, I don't even believe in Santa. You can't possibly be real. And Santa just walks off and he's like, you and me both, kid. I'm not really here to give gifts anymore. I'm just here to give gifts and kill demons, and I'm all out of toys. But they're alerted to another attack at the other side of the city. Batgirl and Nightwing are on the scene, and they're able to contain those demons long enough for this just absolutely badass Santa to come in on Prancer, who impales all of the demons with his antlers. I mean, come on, that is just awesome. Zatanna jumps in and banishes them all to the other side of the world where it's daytime, so that they're gonna just have to lay low for a while because I guess they can't go out in the sunlight. Dick is kind of funny too, because he's like, so I guess all the times that Bruce used to tell him about meeting Santa and going on all these adventures were true. Like, he just thought it was Bruce just trying to tell stories to a little kid about Santa Claus and having a good time and being in the holiday spirit and just, you know, entertainment, but actually he was legitimately telling actual stories that he had been on. Zatanna, though, now that she's seen Santa, is like, hey, there have been a million myths and tales and legends about this Santa Claus, so now that I actually know the guy, I can probably pin down one of the tales that's pretty accurate. So the origin of this Santa goes, in ancient Scandinavia, around the time of the ancient Vikings, it describes a mighty woodsman crafter. In that age, there were a bunch of dangerous creatures that roamed from Asgard into the mortal world, and the Nordic people ended up praying to their gods, Wotan, Freya, and Thor, and all of them, and saying like, hey, we need someone to kind of deal with this. So Santa was basically their answer to that. Every year they would go on this wild hunt where they would take all of the evil creatures that escaped Asgard and banish them back or kill them or do whatever. He was hunting the Krampus at one point, and the Krampus was supposed to be this really evil thing that ate a bunch of children and scared them all or whatever, but then Santa got there and it's like, oh, this guy's actually not that bad. He just likes to scare children, but he's not actually doing anything bad. He's not actually eating them. He just does it for shits and giggles. So instead of killing him, he's like, whatever, let's go home, and he just takes him with him back, and they're headed home, but all of a sudden the bridge to Asgard just completely crumbles. So they don't actually know what happened to Asgard. It's very possible that that was Ragnarok and it just got destroyed at that time. So Santa and Krampus just kind of hung out on Earth for a while. Krampus, his nature was just to scare children, so he did that, never actually harming them, but just to say, you know, I'm sorry for my friend over there. Santa would give all the kids a little toy to kind of make them happy and be like, thanks for playing along with my friend. So before Zatanna actually finishes the story though, Santa interrupts her and says like, hey, those are just silly tales, whatever, man. I got bigger things to do now. I'll be near until the Draugr are dealt with, so, you know, stand by. Batgirl's like, well, actually, don't you have big things coming up soon? You know, like something maybe important that happens every year around this time? And he's like, oh, right, Christmas. But really, he's like, it's fine because people haven't needed him for Christmas in centuries. And instead, all these centuries, he's just been sitting around hunting and trapping all these evil monsters in Draugr. Only he knew where they were, though, so really only he should have been able to free them. Robin blurts out, it was Krampus, and Zatanna's like, I'm not sure that story was even true. But then Robin's like, no, those weird footprints that I saw in the snow, those are definitely like goat-like. I thought at first they were all of the demon-looking things, but now that you mention it, they don't look like that at all. They look like the hoof of a ram, you know, Krampus. Before anyone can really reflect on what Robin's just said though, one of the dead goblin-looking things bursts out with some flowers and a voice comes that says, a gift for one of ye, 'tis the season. Santa's like, oh my god, it's that voice, I recognize that voice. And the flower just explodes, covering Zatanna in this green goo and basically poisoning her, and it sticks to her so like rubber, you can't get it off. The voice says that I put the gift in a pretty package, see? I remember the traditions. Santa snaps and he's like, who speaks through this vessel? And the demon says, you know who, old friend. Very creepily. While Nightwing and Batgirl try to take all the green goo off of Zatanna, the voice says, I cannot have a magician hunting me, so she's gonna have to stay like that for a while. She might have actually been able to lock me away because Zatanna's just so freaking overpowered that they have to cripple her sometimes to make the stories last any bit of time. But the voice says, the toy maker, together we created this wonderful day. Then you threw me into the void, you dickhead. Now I'm back into the world though, and you're gonna have some explaining to do. So now he wants to take the special day to make it his day and about him, about Krampus, not about Santa. And all of the horrors that Santa has trapped away through all the years, he has been slowly releasing them. And he's like, you should have killed me because now I'm gonna free all of these things and Christmas will be the day of misery. Ho ho ho. So something has clearly gone very awry in the history that Zatanna had briefly touched on, so I assume that there's a little bit more to the story that we're going to be finding out here next. But I just love a festive holiday comic book, especially one with a really badass Santa that rides a absolute unit of a reindeer. I'm Keegs, and stay with me because we got 3 more issues of this holiday special, Batman Santa Claus Silent Night.